Hey everyone, Skull902 here, and today I'm going to be showing you a few different ways that you could make a Let's Play. I'm obviously qualified for this, having made like 2 ever, and they're not very good. Well, I've already started this, so I might as well continue. Let's begin. Nope. I'm not touching this one with a 100-foot pole. The legality of Let's Playing is too complicated a subject. Moving on. Now here's a part that I'm sure everyone will care about. Timestamps in the description. It mostly doesn't matter what you call it, but there are some different terminologies people use to describe their run of a game. Here are my understandings or opinions on these terminologies. Let's Play. Probably the most common. Technically supposed to be for live commentary, as if you're there with the player, but can be post-com as well. Isn't restricted to any particular format. Playthrough. Mostly used for group commentary channels that record and post, like how movie commentaries on DVD or Blu-ray are done. But can also be non-com. The whole game is shown as opposed to just highlights. Walkthrough. A non-commentary run of a game meant to show how said game is beaten in a particular way. Typically a 100% run. Long play. Same as a walkthrough, but with the entire game shown in a singular video as opposed to being chopped up into parts. Speedrun. A game being beaten as quickly as possible, often using glitches or exploits. Can be live, post, or non-commentary. Wasn't that just worthwhile? Again, it doesn't really matter too much, except for speedrunning, but those are just my thoughts. From what I've seen, there are 3 different ways you can go about your LP's presentation. The first would be to just post the entire run beginning to end with no cuts of any kind. I cannot recommend doing it like this, because it reeks of laziness, and unless you're really good at the game itself or keeping a flow with your commentary, it's not going to be very entertaining, okay? The second is to have a more streamlined approach. That is to show the whole game beginning to end while cutting out deaths or mistakes, but generally not interrupting the gameplay. This way you're not cutting out levels or story elements, and at the same time, you're not forcing your viewers to watch you fumble around in confusion if that happens to you. The third way is what I like to call highlight style, where you take notes on where your most entertaining commentary is in the LP and make a montage out of it, as opposed to showing the full game. While not so good in my opinion if you're looking to be informative, this kind of presentation really lends itself to the purely comedic style of commentary I'll be talking about in a moment. They even made a TV show using this format in Japan, which you should definitely watch as long as you don't mind subtitles. There are 4 different ways you can go about your commentary that I'm aware of. Screaming. Just wildly yell into your microphone as loud as you possibly can at the littlest thing that happens in-game. Likely to get you popular, but your watchability takes a huge hit. Purely informative. Essentially, a style of commentary done to teach your viewers. Duh. Very little or absolutely no comedic presence. Filled with little tidbits and fun facts about how the game works, its development, or the people behind it. Some people like to do commentary through text, which I believe is best for this style of presentation. Purely comedic. Commentary done for the sake of being funny. Also duh. A constant series of jokes or ironic observations about the game without really going into details on how it works or its history unless if it's for a joke. Informative comedic hybrid. From what I've seen, this is what most LPers go for. Can lean one particular way or have a balance depending on the person or people doing the commentary. This style I think is best for those who want to show the full game. Obviously to have a Let's Play you need game footage. If you don't have game footage, your LP is going to be pretty awful and pretty confusing. Awfully confusing. Here are some methods. To get things out of the way first and foremost, a direct video feed is what you want. Recording your screen with a camera is the absolute worst possible way you could capture your gameplay because it very rarely ever looks presentable. Going out of your way to get PS4 footage from a VCR would look better than recording your screen. Some emulators have built-in recording features. I made a whole video on that. Links in the description. For recording on a PC, be they new games or old, your best bet is probably screen capture. No, not the freaking camera! While you can use a modern capture card to record from PC, it's only really optimal if you have 2 computers, so using screen cap software like OBS, which can record the feed from a capture card, Bandicam or DxTory is the more hassle-free option. With consoles you have a few options, mostly for retro gaming. I'll get retro consoles out of the way first. You could use a VCR, which would honestly take much more effort than it's worth, a DVD recorder, or a low-end capture card. By low-end, I mean one that records S-video at best. Just not this one. This thing records such low-quality video it's astounding. $5 is too much to pay for the EasyCap. Seriously, if you're strapped for cash and only want to do retro games, the Dazzle will do a much better job. Also, S-video is a lot better than composite, so record in that. It's becoming less of an option for retro consoles due to composite and component capture being phased out, but for the 360, PS3, and beyond, we have modern HD-capable capture cards. The best choices I can think of if you want to record older consoles are the Elgato Game Capture HD, AverMedia Live Gamer Portable, and AverMedia Extreme Cap U3, the latter of which can record at 1080p 60 with a bitrate of 60 megabits per second. I'll talk about why bitrate is important in the next section. If you're only looking to play from modern consoles via HDMI, pretty much any 1080p 60 card will do from what I know. The Xbox One and PS4 can record game footage directly, much like a capture-ready emulator, but your recording options as well as video time are limited. For your commentary audio, a program like Audacity will do in most cases. When it comes to putting your video together, you'll need a good video editing program. No, a good video editor. I said good, not worse. There we are. I'm not really going to get too deep into video editing, but I'll let you know a couple of the things that work for me. When recording your commentary, I find it helps to record in advance of the video by a few seconds and then count down from 3 to signify when the video recording begins. This keeps things in sync for the most part. Now we're going to get into bit rates. Basically, bitrate is the amount of information stored in digital multimedia per unit of time. The lower the bitrate, the more video artifacts and loss of detail. Higher video resolutions require higher bit rates to retain quality. I like to preserve as much detail as I can and hate artifacting with a passion, so I save my videos with higher bit rates than most people who pay attention to this stuff would. Want crisp details? Heighten that bit rate. Of course, with more information stored in the video, the higher your video's total file size will be, so be careful of that. Color correction is a really good idea. If your recording hasn't doled out the colors of your game, your video editor most likely will. Look at the before and after in my Sonic 1 8-bit footage. It really does make a difference. For those using Vegas like me, PROTOAMP made a great video about color correction that I'm also linking in the description. I don't use all of his settings, but what he shows is really good. When editing out a mistake in your gameplay, a crossfade works out much better and looks more professional than a jump cut. But that's just like my opinion, man. And finally, I have some tips that can apply to LPs or other videos. If you're struggling to find your comedic style, I think it's a good idea to look at what you think is the funniest and try to base your own style on it while trying to remain original, which is hard because nothing's original anymore, but you know. Just don't be a Carlos Mencia and purely copy other people. References are fine, but don't make that your whole thing. If you need extra help, there are books written to help people find their own comedic style. Try to use a mic with good audio quality when recording your commentary. As you can no doubt tell, I failed in this task miserably. If there are 2 or more people in the commentary, do your best not to talk over each other. It's confusing for anyone listening to try and figure out who's saying what, and it's rude. Don't be rude, you bastards. Appreciate your fan support and don't take them for granted. They're here for a reason, and that reason is because they like your videos. It shouldn't be too hard to be grateful. Last but not least, have fun. If you wind up worrying too much about your views or ad revenue, you're not going to have fun making videos and it'll show in your work. So don't sweat it and do what you do for the love of it. And that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comments. I don't bite. Hope you found this tutorial helpful. I've been Skull902. Thank you for watching and have yourselves a wonderful day.